Now, ostensibly, I am here at the AXA Training Centre today for a press conference previewing Liverpool's game against West Ham at Anfield on Sunday. But as you can imagine, Arne Slot didn't get many questions about that, and for one obvious reason, that is because Mohamed Salah has signed a new deal with Liverpool today, and that is the huge talking point around the club today. Now, just as we get into that, before I talk about the press conference itself, I just want to go through a couple of details just to give you my understanding now. Of course, Liverpool haven't publicly confirmed this, but it is my understanding that it is a 2-year deal for Mo Salah. And despite reports and suggestions that have come out of late suggesting that Liverpool were trying to lowball Mo Salah, there has been no pay cut in this deal, so no attempts to get a cheap deal done by Liverpool on that front. I would also say that sources are giving big credit to Richard Hughes for his work, the sporting director, on getting this deal done. I know on both occasions really that Mo Salah, or the last 2 occasions that Mo Salah's extended his contract, those negotiations haven't been easy, so big credit being given to Richard Hughes for getting this one over the line. And I think people around the club as well are always quite keen to kind of get across that, you know, this is shows really that Liverpool are very, very good at keeping their elite talent, and this is another example of that. So a lot of people within that building who are understandably pleased with themselves, because this is, of course, big news and big positive news for Liverpool today. But I think the most important thing, and the thing we wanted to hear today, is what does Arne Slot have to say about it? Obviously, he's the manager who gets to manage this incredible talent in Mo Salah, and he's now going to get another 2 seasons of him as well. So what does he think about it all now? It was asked, as a starting point really, is this a bit of a relief for you? Because of course this has been dragging on for a long while. We're not too far away from a situation where Mohamed Salah could have left the club on a free transfer, but they've avoided that. So great news for Liverpool. But he was asked, are you relieved? And he said, look, it's probably more of a relief for fans really, because I've known for some time which direction these talks were heading in, and you know what, I'm not surprised at all to hear him say that. I mean, I did a video and I looked back for the date of this actually on the 25th of February, talking about the fact that he was almost dropping hints about the contracts. I spoke about the fact that he brought up Mohamed Salah's contract situation completely unprompted without even being asked about it. And I said, the vibe he gave off there, the fact you could see he was so relaxed, I think told you a lot about where those contract talks were up to at the time. And I think that's ultimately been proven right, because he was obviously relaxed because he felt it would get done, and he had the expectation that would be the case, and clearly that has come true now. And he was relaxed for good reason, because he always knew it was heading in this direction and that Liverpool were going to get the deal done. Now, I spoke a little bit earlier there about the praise for Richard Hughes as well, and Arne Slot did want to chime in with a bit of that as well himself. He said, I am part of the process, but I don't deserve the compliments. It's Mo, his agent, and then FSG and Richard. They put in all the effort, which means money. And then he gave us a big laugh. Of course, he's only joking about that aspect of it, but these things do take time. They are difficult. And I would say around Richard Hughes as well, actually, that he inherited a bit of a terrible situation. I mean, there's various factors to blame for this really, but he came in a situation where Mo Salah, Liverpool's best player, arguably the best player in the world this season, was in a situation where he was 1 year out from the end of his contract, and not a lot of time then to, of course, sort it out and get that signed. So he's given a bit of a hospital pass, you would call it, really. And so he's done great work to get that done. As I say, it's not easy with a player like Mo Salah, who knows his value, is very well paid, and you've got to make that work within the wage structure, but he's been able to do that. And I do think this is a big moment for him, actually. Obviously, the ability for Slot has praised him before, of course, but obviously this is him delivering on something that is really tangible, because he had a quiet summer really, Chiesa. We haven't seen a lot of him this season, so we don't know how good of a signing he has been almost. Marmadashvili, of course, is still at not the Georgia national team. He is, of course, still there, but he is still at Valencia at the moment. So again, not had the opportunity to judge that signing yet. So he needed something. He needed a bit of a breakthrough, and I feel in getting this contract done, it's not just Slot that will be praising him today, it's everyone around the club, and including the fans, and maybe get a little bit more buy-in. It feels almost like the start of his reign as sporting director, and it's good news as well, of course, that he's got Virgil van Dijk's contract to come. We expect that to be done in the next few days as well. So I think it's some good news, some momentum for him in terms of his career as sporting director at Liverpool, and it just quietens the doubts around him, doesn't it, down. So I think it's a really big boost for him, and the Slot is right to mention that. He's also right to mention that Liverpool are throwing a fair bit of money at this as well, and that does always help. Now, in terms of what the impact of this is on Liverpool as a team, he spoke about the fact that, of course, it's helpful to have someone who scores goals. It's a big part of football, and that is why it's such a big boost for Liverpool. But he also talked about the kind of further impact this can have, the wider impact on Liverpool, and specifically about what it means for the summer window that is coming up. And the quote I've got here is, "If I would put myself in the shoes of a player we might want to sign, it's always helpful to tell them that Mo Salah has signed his contract, or nice to tell them that Mo Salah has signed his contract." And I think he's absolutely right to make that point. Ultimately, good players who are going to move around this summer, good players who might be thinking about Liverpool but are also wanted by different clubs, they want to play with the best players in the world, and they want to play with arguably, like I say, the best player in the world this season in Mo Salah. And so if you sign a player like that up, it gives them that comfort of, yes, I'm going to come and play with Mo Salah, but also Liverpool are going to be just as good next season because they've got the guy who scored nearly 40 goals. He's still going to be there. It's going to help the team. It's going to help that continuity. So I think it's massive for that. I think it will have a big impact on Liverpool's summer to get these contracts done, because it shows as well Liverpool have got ambition. They can pay these players as much as they need. And for all the talk, really, and you see this a lot, of kind of one of the things that FSG get bashed for, really, is, and I think completely wrong, really, is that, lack of ambition, inability to sign the top players and then keep the top players. And you look at kind of Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk, and they were both signed, both weren't the elite level when they came, but turned to the elite level. And ever since that point that they became world-class stars, in the top 2 or 3 in their position, maybe the top 1 in their position, Liverpool have not had any trouble retaining them. They've been able to sign these players, turn them into world-class stars, and then keep them. And ultimately, Virgil van Dijk and Mo Salah are going to leave Liverpool having given the best years of their careers to Liverpool. And so, for all we talk about ambition or lack of ambition, that accusation gets levelled at FSG. You have to say they've played a blinder, really, with both of these players, and they've shown to the wider football world, really, that they are able to get the elite level talents into the club, but they're also then able to keep them there and help them win trophies. And I think that sends out a big message, as Slot alludes to there, to players they might want to sign this summer, that come here, we will make you an elite player, we will give you opportunity to prove how good you are, you will win trophies, and we will also reward that with a big contract to make sure that it works for both of us. So I think it's a big and important message about what Liverpool's summer plans are going to be. And I think it also says that, look, this manager as well, I think it's a big boost for Arne Slot on the basis that Mo Salah, he's a year out from the end of his contract when the new manager arrives. He has to be convinced by him, and I think he has been by Slot. He wants to extend that working relationship beyond this season. And look, it's mutually beneficial. Slot's going to win a Premier League. Mo Salah's going to win a Premier League. Liverpool are going to win a Premier League. Absolutely everybody is happy with this agreement. And again, if Mo Salah is buying into this manager, he's buying into this club. If you're a player who's looking to make that step to an elite club this summer, this gives you every reason to feel calm about that, and the fact that Liverpool would be the best place for you to go. It's really, really helpful in that regard, I would say. Now, of course, as I said earlier in the video, we are here to talk about West Ham, or on the face of it we were anyway. And actually, I'm in the breakout where Slot did his embargoed section today, and as we walked in, he joked, he reminded us all, we are playing West Ham this weekend, you all know. So he obviously, acknowledge the fact that there weren't very many questions about West Ham itself, but there were a couple in there in the press conference, I have to say. And I think the team news, which I usually put at the top of these videos, is an interesting one today. Now, of course, doubts over Alisson Becker. He's been out for a while now with that concussion sustained on international duty, but good news on that front in that Alisson is fit and available for this game. Slot expects him to be available for this one, so he will come straight back into the starting 11. So I think that's a boost, particularly as I didn't think Quaveen Kelleher had his best game against Fulham. So good news to have Alisson Becker fit and available, and as I say, straight into the 11. And of course, he was also asked about Connor Bradley, who made his return from injury at Fulham as a substitute. He was asked if he is ready to start games, and Arne Slot said absolutely yes. And he said, thought that Curtis did a decent job there. You couldn't blame him for the goal that deflected off him. It's just one of those things. Those things can happen to anyone in that position, he said. But when you've got a player like Connor available, he said I would make the same decision that everybody in here would make in terms of who would start there. And of course, if you do have an orthodox right back of the quality of Connor Bradley, you are going to use him. So I would expect him to come back into the starting 11. And I think that is good news for Liverpool. I think he brings more balance to the side, and I think he's an absolutely outstanding right back in his own right. So I think that is good news. So I guess on the whole, it's all good news, isn't it? You've got players returning from injury. You've got Liverpool top of the league and 11 points clear. Mohamed Salah committing his future, and Virgil van Dijk we expect to be the next cab off the rank. So it's very, very good news and very, very positive around Liverpool at the moment. It's also the sun shining on Merseyside as well. So really, really not a lot to complain about on this Friday afternoon. Just hope that Liverpool now can go into the game on Sunday and back it up with a good result that gets them even closer to winning the Premier League title. But do let me know in the comments how you're feeling about it all. How do you feel about Mo Salah's new contract? You excited about Virgil, that announcement coming soon as well? And how you feeling about the weekend's game? What would your team selection look like? Do you think this is going to be a tough one for Liverpool, or are you feeling confident that you can get the points on board? As I say, do let me know in the comments what you think about all that. And of course, if you can like and if you could subscribe, always massively appreciated. But I'm going to wrap it up there and say I'll see you guys very soon.